Oh, oh wait. Okay, so I'm gonna start today explaining what my experience was. Okay, so I did spied on some Hell's Angel members, and I caught them doing something. The police were there and everything, so I wanted to go and uh, force this uh, man to talk. Um, his name is Gunther. His last name Gunther. I think they own Gunther Farms or something here on the island. And I was going to go to him and make him squeal to me on camera. I could probably persuade anyone to talk. I'm that intimidating. So, during those moments of to myself, I was getting dressed up, getting ready. I had a camera, and I was about to go out the door. Now, someone stopped me. This is before I cried. Someone stopped me, and I realized I might have been hallucinating, or it was total magic, because it wasn't something that normal people see. A portal-like window in my ceiling where I've seen events in our time now, 7 years. We're on the 7th year, so let me explain. Okay, so this image here is me, and this here is a fire extinguisher, which I tried to put out this flame that was in the ceiling, showing me events. So at that point, I was scared. Like anyone, I went to sleep. I thought I might have been hallucinating and really tripping out, so I went to sleep. Okay, now about a few days, possibly almost a week, I was in on my couch, basically not moving. Everything was sore. My muscles were very fatigued. My legs were very fatigued. I didn't really walk that often, not even eat. I basically went to the bathroom and went back to bed. And then I got scared and I reported it. So I reported to the FBI and the CIA. Now, what I did there was I might have triggered something, because the next day, this guy came to my and pulled me out into space. Sounds crazy. Well, I'm telling you because it's from everything that happened, it's the truth. This guy speaks Hebrew. Not only Hebrew, biblical Hebrew. I had to find this out through the internet. Didn't happen right away, so I didn't know what was going on at this time. I thought it was just another, I even asked my mom what was going on. She thought this was Egyptian. And I said, well, he didn't sound like it. I don't know what's going on. So that was another week of being sore and what happened here, he scanned me with something with his right hand. So when he went and scanned me with his right hand, there was a rainbow going on my forehead, and it was going in and out, and I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. This guy was huge. I thought when he was speaking in Hebrew, I said, oh no, he's talking to his lunch. Like someone crazy would talk to their potatoes, something like that. So I thought I was going to get eaten. This guy is huge. Like his wrist, I remember grabbing either was his fingers or his wrist, but I remember it was like grabbing a tree trunk. A big tree. So, anyway, a few weeks, sore again, on the couch, same illness where I was just going to the bathroom, barely eating, and going back to the couch. Okay. And then I went in heaven. Oh, let me find this one. The temple. Now, the temple. I first appeared in this corner here. Yeah, over here. So in this corner when I appeared, this woman, which is the queen, and now this is an image from, because I kind of figured out this could have been like well, if they told me I was good, isn't this like an Adam thing? So I got this from a comic book because I didn't want to make a mistake. I really, because she was beautiful. She was like, oh god, like really lovely looking, and I was, I listened to her and I didn't say anything. I was just at awe. So in this room, you see here these cats. Now this is this is what I drew. This is out of my head. I'm not a very good drawer, but I did try. So these cats, there are four of them. Now, since the dream started in 2015, right? There's four cats. Each cat had their paws in the air. So, and in this temple, there's no ceiling. This temple finished off around 9 feet or so, or maybe 12. I didn't measure the walls. I wasn't interested because I knew in my head, okay, this must be heaven. This was already measured before through David, and Solomon. Through Solomon, they measured this. So this is not something that's not. This is something that's not new. I kind of figured, okay, well, it's this is a given. This is already they already figured this out. So, and I didn't really know that much of the Bible. I didn't know I was supposed to be quiet. I stayed quiet. Now these cats had their paws in the air. Now they look very happy. They're not just normal cats. These guys are huge. They were kittens. They look like kittens. They look very childlike, like very, cute, lovely. They didn't look very menacing. I'm sure if these guys got bigger, they would be furiously looking. These cats were huge. This leg here was probably up to my waist. You see, I drew it taller than the altar here. This, because these cats are big. Now, these dogs are, 2022 and 2021, these dogs were like Great Danes compared to the cats. These dogs were big too, but, right beside the cats, they were dwarfed. Like, they look really, really small. Now, I drew one skinny because they did look very starved. Like each dog, and they looked like they were getting skinnier. One was skinny, the other one was just bony. So something was going on here. Someone's trying to tell me something without really talking to me. And when I came to this point, I realized, oh, okay, so I just divided it by 2. That's easy to remember. I spent a lot of time here. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know about altars or anything like that. I thought this was a printer or a Xerox machine. I really laid it down. I was, I knew it was about, when I was kneeling on my knees, it's about this high, but the size of an oven, right? So, and it had an opening. Now I put the opening here just to show that there was an opening. There probably was an opening on both sides, but there's an opening on the other side too with a little lip. So this is lip here. It looked like a Xerox machine. Like you look at a Xerox, it had an in and an output. An input and an output, right? Okay, now these curtains were invisible. This was like this is the outside of the temple. There's a street, right? So this room here, there was 2 female guards. They were flanked by 2 female guards. And the queen, which is her right here, she greeted me when I came in this corner, and then we walked over here, which when I was kneeling, right, and she just sat on her throne and just watched me, and maybe for about an hour or 2, these 2 female guards came and kind of like, guided me to this doorway here, which led out to this section here, out in the pathway. Now this is a hall. I remember seeing there was more people in the hall, right? So when I went down here, it could have been north. Yes, yeah, I went down north. Now I drew this kind of weird because I wasn't sure what I was looking at. There was a garden here. These are people where I walked with people. Now from this point here and this point here, I walked. And when I stopped walking, just probably about, I would say probably about 20 feet here. So I walked this way and stopped here. And during that time, there was a man and a donkey with a lamb in front of them. They were kind of approaching me, kind of like walking toward me, and they stopped all together. The lamb stopped, that was in front, and the man and the donkey stopped. Now, I remember looking up at the lamb, and it was braided around its neck. So it had a small, very neat plant braid rope around its neck. Not tight, it was kind of loosely there. And it was going up to the sky. This is the same sky that I saw in the temple here. When you look up in the temple here, you would see kind of like clouds in heaven. Now, this rope was made of plants. And it was going all the way to the sky. This is where I was realizing, oh, what is happening? Okay, let me continue here. Now, we walked together down to some benches, right? And then there was a man. I remember seeing a man. He was burnt. This could have been Elijah, because Elijah, they attempted to kill him, and he was taken up to heaven. Now, someone is burnt in heaven, possibly still alive from during the times when he was taken up there. Now, his robes were tattered. He had wounds on his leg. I tried finding his stuff out. It's basically all in Hebrew. So Hebrew people know this. Anyone who's Hebrew, you know the story of Elijah, right? So when we sat on the bench, right? And I drew this too, because this is also very important. I have it here somewhere. It's okay. It's probably gone. But I probably have it somewhere else. Now, when we sat on the bench, to my right, looked like there was, maybe someone sitting really close could sit there, or it was just finishing off. On this side, on my left side, this is where the man who was burnt, we sat together along with other people down on the left. Now, we were facing a stage, one or two step stage. And there was also people on the stage too. And they were pointing at me. They all had surprised looks, like kind of like that kind of look. So, they're looking at me, and I was just, I was at awe because no one was talking to me. I didn't say anything. The only thing I said was to the man that was looked like he was injured. I followed him. We were way back at the crowd because he was walking slow. So I stayed with him. I said, "Wow, you look like you don't belong here. You're a stranger. I'm going to stay with you because I'm going to help you just in case something happens or he falls or something. I'm going to help him up." We sat on the bench together, and his foot started bleeding. Now, his foot had a puncture. Who is that? I don't know. Now, when I put my hands over the puncture to try to stop the bleeding, I took his shoes off and tried to stop the bleeding. I remember going like this with my thumbs, and the wound chalked away, right? This man is obviously a black man. I remember his features. He kind of looks like he was possibly Ethiopian, or he had anyway, the skull shape. There's when you look at Ethiopia, you could tell that the people there, they have I have it. My grandpa has it. There's right here is very flat. Now when I took his shoes off, I remember stopping or making the wound disappear. Now during that time okay, pussycat, stop moving the camera. During that time when he started bleeding again, the blood went all around me. Now, that's when I came back here on the floor in my home. Now, that was kind of weird too, because I remember traveling through like a flesh tunnel. There was a light on the end. It was going very fast. I remember because I was screaming too, traveling, and some of it got in my mouth. And I remember it tasted like vomit. Like I came out of that with a bad taste in the mouth. Like it tasted like vomit. Like if you burped up and then vomit was in your mouth. That's the kind of taste that came out of that tunnel. That's the cat moving the camera. Now, when after this, I saw other things. I saw a Bible in my room that was open up on Salomon's journal, and I heard music. I heard a harp, people singing. I was spoken to, telling me to don't worry, stand up. That was during the time when me and the church were arguing, saying that, they were making a comment that I was something bad, and I was telling them, you got it wrong. I knew at that point, Hebrew. Now, I didn't know about it, but I knew Hebrew from the angel. So if the angel is speaking Hebrew, everything else didn't make sense to me, because I was born Roman Catholic. Now, it does say in the Torah that I would be baptized. Now, something happened to me way long ago, and you can ask my family members. I was dunked in my bathtub around my 20s, and no one could explain to me why someone put my head underwater. Now coming back to what's happening today, this is something that's obviously, when I was shown this part here, so you have each representation here represents a year, right? The throne, obviously that's the queen's throne. The altar represents the earth on fire. Now, when I saw this image here, the earth was burning. I saw a lot of stuff here at this portal section here. There was a lot of things shown to me. It was like watching a plasma screen connected to my ceiling, and everything was just coming at me, and I was just like, like eyeballs open like this, and I was just looking. Okay, sounds crazy. Not really if you believe. So, at that point, I knew that either the FBI, when I was reading the Torah, the FBI or the CIA must have took this idea, because this is when I reported them. I reported what I seen over at the Hells Angels Club with the cops and stuff, and I reported this all in the same 2 emails from CIA and the FBI. Now, a few years later, right, now, during this time, right, that's when Trump went to Israel, and he said that he was a king or something. Now you have 2 dogs. The dog is starving as you go on, right? This is a punishment. This is something to do with Deuteronomy 13. When he went there, he wasn't told to go there. He wasn't given anything other than what I wrote to CIA and FBI, and I asked them to help me. I said, I saw something. This is what I saw, and I need you to help me figure out what's going on here. They ignored me. This is not something that's known from the FBI. People tell things to the FBI, and it seems like nothing is getting done. You could tell that to the victims that with Larry Nassar and all that with the gymnasts. There's lots of people who complain and got nothing done. So I'm not the only one here, right? So this is what the time that people should really listen what Hashem is saying to us. Because obviously there's floods, there's tornadoes, we're getting punished. And this needs to be known that obviously Trump broke something. He caused something in Deuteronomy 13 where we are all going to get punished. All of us. If we don't, okay, my cat wants to come on me, obviously. If we don't figure out what is going on, right? So, if we don't figure out what's in Deuteronomy 13, what we have to do, this thing here is going to happen. Now, I saw flames as high as the stratosphere, and it's surrounded everywhere around me. So, I'm really, really trying to get people to love Hashem, to know that He's real. There is a Creator, And if we don't listen, something bad's going to happen to all of us. It's going to be a judgment, right? So we can all read this through Ezekiel, right? You can start from Genesis right through the end of the Torah, but Ezekiel is where this is really detailed explained. And Mosaish, he's also explained it in great detail. So these are talking about the same events. Mosaish talked about the same events as Ezekiel. They're talking about what's happening today. Obviously, I was up here, so something must have happened when I reported to the FBI and CIA. They took that idea, and maybe Trump bought it. Because when Trump, during this time here, he was trying to spin what I was reporting with the Hells Angels. He was trying to spin it to say it was actors and the QAnon and all that stuff. So he was spinning what I was trying to report. So everything got ruined, and the FBI took another... They took this and then they ignored what I said, just like they ignored victims. This is not a new thing for the FBI. There's something very bad going on, obviously, in the justice system, for Hashem to contact me, tell me that this is a solution. Is this really a solution? Or could I help? Now, by this angel coming to me, this is in Solomon's journal. In Hebrew, in the Torah, where I am here in my place. So understand, I can't leave here. I do leave here for small things like groceries or something, but I'm back here right away because I know I have to be here. I have to see this through here. So, please understand, this is something that I'm trying to get across. Hashem is obviously not very nice to the United States and the rest of the world right now. He's obviously giving punishment. It's a step-by-step. It's not going to happen right away. It's a step-by-step. So the floods, the tornadoes, these are just small steps towards what's going to be big steps. It's getting bigger and bigger. More people are being affected. More people are suffering. More people are dying. More people are losing stuff all the time. If we don't love Hashem and love what He gave us, they said I was good. They told Noah was good. Do you understand what this means, right? This is a judgment. So if we don't do this together, obviously Trump is lying. He lies all the time. There's no laser beams. There's no all kinds of other stuff. I'm not Superman. He's not Superman, but he plays himself to be. So these are lies that are indicated in the Torah, that someone is lying about a dream that they had, and they're making it out to be even more fantasy, right? Solomon talks about this. We have to be very scared and very worried about people who explain fantasy, like power suits and laser beams and things like that. This is all part of fantasy, like a comic book, right? So any rabbi that's praying when Trump got COVID-19, any rabbi praying to save Trump's life is kind of, faltering something. Now, the rabbi that did sacrifice a lamb to save Trump's life died within 7 days of making that sacrifice. You can find this through Israel documents. This is very bad. We need to listen to what Hashem is saying. Look around you. And if you're in the United States, look around you. Obviously, something is happening because you got extinct animals, you got floods, tornadoes, earthquakes. This is going to get worse and worse and worse if we don't love Hashem better.